why don't we get into the Nicki Minaj story? Nicki Minaj has been crashing out so bad. I do also have to tell you guys, I didn't get the time to do all the screen grabs and stuff for this story, but Nicki Minaj crashed out on Twitter. She was accusing her like stylist of stealing from her. So she went and she filed a police report. But then all of a sudden, she started tweeting about her disdain for Jay-Z and Rock Nation again. And what else did she do? What else did Nicki Minaj do, y'all? So she recently tweeted, "You guys win. I'm not making any new music anymore." So the album is not coming out. Okay. So that's a story about her. I don't know why she's saying that. Maybe she's just upset because people keep accusing her of being on coke or something like that. But that's her latest announcement. But there's some more news about her that I wanted to share with you guys. According to multiple sources, Nicki's Los Angeles mansion might be sold off to settle a debt that she and her husband have been refusing to pay. So this is Us Weekly magazine that came out with a report yesterday. So apparently a man named Thomas Weidenmuller, who was awarded $503,000 from Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty in a lawsuit that he filed against them, accusing Petty of assault in 2019, asked the court to order that Nicki Minaj's mansion be sold off to help him collect the money that Nicki and Kenneth owe him. And when we say that Nicki and Kenneth owe him money, we mean Nicki, because Kenneth doesn't have money, right? He doesn't have a job. Apparently he's her manager or something like that, but he doesn't have, you know what I mean? Like Nicki's money is his money. And so that is really, really huge. Like they really disagree with the ruling and everything. And so that's why they've been refusing to pay it. I do believe that Nicki Minaj has the money to pay it. However, she just does not want to by principle. But unfortunately, when there is a ruling against you, you legally are obligated to pay it off. And when you've got assets, the way that Nicki Minaj has assets, they can be seized. Liens can be placed on them in order to force you to pay off the debts that you owe. Okay. So why is it that this man was given such a massive judgment against them? Well, he was a former security guard at one of Nicki Minaj's shows in Germany. And apparently, I don't remember exactly what it is that happened, but Kenneth Petty got violent with him and he sued and he won. And so I can't believe it. One thing about Nicki that I will never understand is how somebody so beautiful, so talented, so famous can go and get married to the man that she chose to marry. And you know what I found out recently too that I was really shocked about? You know how Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty, they knew each other like back in the day? I thought that like they just kind of got out, like, because he got out of they got back together because he got out of prison or something, hit her up. But come to find out, allegedly, the real story behind how Nicki and Kenneth Petty reconnected is because Nicki was doing some kind of like charity, like turkey drive for Thanksgiving or whatever. And then he came, and I don't know if he was looking for a donation or something like that, but he came. It sounds like he might have been looking for a donation because I think he was living kind of rough. And then she said, "Wow, like you're fresh out of jail. You're here at my turkey drive. Let's go and get married." I just truly do not understand what happened to her, how she wound up like this, right? So anyway, in this man's court filing, he said, and I quote, "The property's current fair market value is appraised at $20 million, yielding approximately $6 million in equity beyond the lien and exemption. That amount is more than sufficient to satisfy the judgment, plus accrued interest and enforcement costs." Okay. And so he said that the law doesn't need for him to exhaust other collection efforts. He can go directly for the house and everything like that. And so he and his people are being very, very aggressive about getting his money, which I say, you know what? Why not? Why not? This woman is very, very rich. Her husband owes you money. Go for it. And the way that she's spiraling on TikTok and everything like that, it doesn't sound like she's going to have money for much longer. So you better go for it while you can. So I do support this man, unfortunately, I have to say, right? Okay, so let's get back into the meat and potatoes of why it is that he filed a lawsuit and how he won. So apparently while he was working that German show of Nicki's back in March of 2019, he claimed that a fan broke the security barrier and was able to get on that stage, got really close to Nicki Minaj, right? And so Nicki was very upset by this, obviously. And so I guess that she felt like this particular person didn't do a good job as a bodyguard or as a security guard, and she allegedly sicked her husband on him to go and jump him or something like that, right? There have been a lot of rumors that Kenneth Petty is her muscle or something like that, and this kind of falls in line with that. And so he says that he was ordered to go to Nicki Minaj's dressing room, and when he was in the dressing room, Nicki Minaj was there with Kenneth Petty and 2 other security guards, and then that's where he was kind of beat up. And so he said that he was rushed to the hospital where doctors determined that he had serious injuries, and he actually wound up needing surgery to fix his jaw. And Nicki and Kenneth did not even fight back against the lawsuit. So to me, when you're this rich, you have the resources to hire a lawyer and everything and fight back. If you don't fight back, you let it get to this judgment, and this judgment has been around for years. You're guilty. Okay. Very, very guilty. I want to know what y'all think about this. Okay. So let me go ahead, pop on into the comment section and see what y'all have to say. Okay. Mary Duda says, if that's the case, he did kind of fail at his job. And I can agree. However, I don't know that warrants being jumped. Abby says, good morning, Abby. Nice to see you, boo. Jaleesa, hey, boo. Nikki's going to be the next Wendy Williams. And I really think so. And it's so sad. I have such a hard time understanding how she got with this guy, why she would have settled for this. I think that she had so many eligible bachelors she could have gotten married to. It's my girl. I was just talking about you earlier, Julie. Why doesn't Nicki have the liquid 500K? Isn't that pocket money for the richest female rapper? Well, that's the thing. I do believe that Nicki Minaj has the money. However, I think that she just doesn't want to deal with this. Like, they ignored the lawsuit. They could have fought this. They could have hired better lawyers than this person, even if they were in the wrong. But they just said, whatever, like, I don't care. Street justice over everything, essentially, right? East Awesome says, Kenneth Petty is Nicki Minaj's goon. Let's be, for effing real. He is a doughboy. And that's what this lawsuit kind of proves, right? Basically, that Nicki was in on this. She knew it was happening. It happened in front of her. And that is a really, really horrible thing, right? And who can't relate, Mary Duda? Like, unfortunately, it is all too relatable. Kalia says, good morning, Kalia. Nice to see you. Good morning, Matt, Jessica as well. And you know what? That's what I'm wondering, Allie, because I hadn't seen her like this before she got with this man. Like, yes, she always had her own issues and whatnot, but lately she has just been so far gone that it makes you wonder what really is going on with her behind the scenes. You would think that her getting married, even if it's not the greatest person she could have chosen, her having her son, she seemed really happy when Papa Bear was born, but there's just been this deep level of just anger, venom, vitriol, that just, it's scary. And her obsession with Jay-Z, particularly in Rock Nation, it's weird. Her obsession with Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, it's weird. Ray says, surely she had a contract and it's going to come out regardless. LOL, she's being petty, so people will keep talking about her. It's what these celebs do. But you know what? That amount of money, y'all, the idea of losing your house because you're refusing to pay a debt that you were legally obligated to pay is absolutely insane. I think that Nicki needs to just suck it up and pay him at this point. And again, she should have been very careful because now I think that this is not the first time that she's going to have to pay to clean up some messes that her husband is involved with. Granted, in this particular instance, I do believe that Nicki ordered for this to happen or was okay with this happening. However, her husband has a very, very long criminal history. He's got a lot of court dates coming up as well. And guess who's going to be footing the bill for this man's court dates, right? And his lawyers and whatnot. It's Nicki Moneybags Minaj. So that's why I'm really happy that this guy is going as aggressive as possible to get that money ASAP before it all goes away. Because, I don't know if you guys have been listening to the new Doja Cat album. So Doja Cat, she was very, very popular for a while. And then she dropped this new album. And it's not really getting that much steam. People are not really feeling it. And I think that the core of what that issue is that Doja Cat went on the record on social media to insult her fans, to say that like her music and songs are a cash grab. People who listen to her music are stupid, like all types of stuff, right? And she just tried to make herself as attractive as possible to her fans. And so now she's really paying for it in terms of a lack of listenership or people really riding for her like that. And Nicki, with all of her ranting, turning the music industry against her and everything, like, I don't think she's going to have money for much longer at this point.